Good morning and happy Monday to you all. My name is Haylee Jacob and welcome to my podcast, Rise and Shine. Today we have a returning guest, Kristen Campbell. If you are new to the podcast or if you missed Kristen's episode, her first episode, go back and listen to it. It's about habits. It's really awesome. And we are blessed to get to have her again today. Kristen is a worship leader at her church, and she is a fitness instructor and focuses on helping people be their healthiest selves while always pointing them to Jesus. Today, we are going to talk about leadership and worship in the church and what it means to be a worship leader or just a leader in general in the church. And it's a really great conversation. I had a blast talking to her. She's my cousin, so we always have fun with each other. All right, we're going to get into the episode now. So grab your coffee, sit in your comfiest chair, and it is time to rise and shine. Okay, so we are going to talk about what it is like to be a leader in the church, and both of us are on our church's worship teams, and we're going to talk about, what that looks like and how, the difficulties and the, maybe obstacles that we can come across.
The humanity in it.
I
think so many times we over-spiritualize the gift of serving, and we forget to deal with the human side of us too. I'm tired.
Exactly. So, Kristen has been on my podcast before, but remind us a little bit about who you are and, your role on the worship team in your church. How'd you come into that?
Well, I live in a teeny tiny little town in Cushing, America. It's literally like a 5-mile radius town. We love it out there. Small town is just so great. And we have 3 kiddos. Scott and I have been married for almost 18 years, literally next month. That's crazy. Yay. Next month at the time of this recording. I'm in the fitness industry and the just health and wellness, like overall wellness industry. So I love empowering people to heal their habits and strengthen their bodies and clear their minds and all the things. And also leading them just to recognize that it's all interconnected with Jesus. Love it. So I get to do that. We have a studio in town and we have some online situations. And my favorite part of the week is definitely going to church.
Yes.
And I have not always been that way, I promise. But I am in a very sweet season with leadership at my church. And I love it. So yeah, I get to sing. I just do vocals. I'm not, like we were talking before the podcast, I don't know how to read music or any of that stuff, but and I've never sang like professionally, like outside of the church, because that's the only area I want to use this gift. And so I've been doing that for really my whole life. As long as I could stand on a stage with a microphone. But
you get thrown up there,
like
you're
just
doing
get
it.
Tossed up, like, here, is this thing on? Here, just sing. You know the words. You can't read them on the screen. That's fine.
Yeah. Didn't exist when we were kids.
It didn't exist. Like, can we push that slide over of the projector? Oh, somebody's hand's on there.
Yep.
Move your hand. And so, but I have been serving with my church for about 10 years. I was trying to do the math earlier. I think it's been about 10 years, and I just love it so much.
Yeah. So you are on the worship team with your church, and you do vocals, like you said. Tell me about what it looks like to be on your church's worship team and what that means for you guys being on stage and kind of being, even if you're not the worship pastor, you are still, because you're on the stage, you're still seen as a leader in the church. And what does that mean to you?
Well, and you are leading.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is, like, whether you're switching faders or you're, throwing the lyrics on Pro Tools, whatever you're doing, like, you are leading people in some way, and it's I think it's such an honor to get to lead people. Yeah, and so the cool thing is, for our church, we have multiple sites and locations, so I've actually gotten to be on I don't know, a handful of teams within the same organization.
Mm-hmm.
And each campus has its own personality, and each pastor has his own way of doing things. So in the season that I'm in right now is actually my favorite to date. And I don't know if it's just because of where I'm at, or I don't know if just the way he leads us or me in this season. But I love, love, love getting to, well, I kind of see it as twofold. So
Mm-hmm.
we have like our band family, and you know, like being in a band, you are tight. Like we have multiple services on a Sunday. So like you go and you sing for 20 minutes, and then you come and sit down and you sit and wait for the next service to start. Well, a lot of really awesome conversations happen in there, and it's really cool because there's lots of different generations. So we've got some college kids that serve with us. We've got people who are older than I am, and you just get to sit, and there's this almost this community that you don't even think about when you're on the worship team. Like, and it's really tight because you spend so much time together. So I love being able to see that, like me getting to like lead and pour into you know, let's say a young girl who is trying to find her way through life, and her ministry and her, you know, school and all of the things. But then also sitting with the one who, you know, she has grandkids and she's teaching me, and it has nothing to do with music. So I love the team aspect of it. And getting to collect a bunch of lives together in this teeny tiny, way too small green room.
Always.
And having like the best conversations. And for like on stage, for me, like my worship isn't when I worship on the floor, it's different than the way I worship on the stage. And let me explain to you, because for me, when I worship on the floor, that is my worship to God. Like I am entering into this conversation, this experience with God as Kristen and God. When I'm on the stage, I take it almost as like a call to help people experience that. So, you know, like I always try to, something I always try to do is ask God to show me one person that I can connect with, and that I can, even if it's just looking at their face or finding them in the lobby. And he's always so faithful to do that. Because there are many times that I'll be standing on the stage and I know the person in front of me is suffering from infertility, or they're suicidal, or they're overcoming a trauma that just happened last week, like whatever. And it may not be like that specific, but I just get these senses, and God will allow me to have those just little moments. And it's almost like I can see myself like taking the roof off and being like, come in. This is where Jesus is. And all through a worship service. And so for me, it's like so much less about what key something's in. And of course, you know, I want the technicalities matter, but what song we're singing, what the lyrics are, and all of that, and more about like experience Jesus, like take off the crushing weight of the world for just these few minutes, step in, and this is how we heal, this is how we fight, this is how we you know, connect with the one true God. And I love getting to be a part of that. So when I serve on the worship team, it's less about actually worshiping, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like my worship is the servanthood, I guess.
So I love what you said about the team too, because it does take a team, and the team has to be cohesive. But I think that I'm a music teacher, so I don't want to sound biased when I say that. But I think that music specifically, and creating music with someone else, and especially creating music with someone else to worship God, is such a special and like almost like intimate thing to do, because music is so powerful.
It is powerful. Even in a non-Christian setting. Like music just, it reaches places of us that words can't.
Right. And they call it the universal language because it can move. You can listen to a piece of music that has no words, and it still feels something, and you still have a meaning to it. And you can feel
something different than I feel.
Yes.
The same piece of music. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I love, you know, that you talked about the teamwork and the team and how you guys come together, because your team has to come together, and you have to be you have to know what your teammates are going to do. And I think that's why I love singing with you and my mom and Aunt Crystal, because we've been singing together our whole
and we
lives.
never discuss parts.
We never discuss
like,
parts.
No keys. Like, they just start playing, and we just like...
We know. Because we've created that relationship where I know Kristen is going to sing this part, and I know my mom is going to sing this part, and Aunt Crystal's going to sing that part. So that means I'm going to be up
You're
here.
always up there.
I'm always on the top. Yes. So, and I know when you're going to riff. And I know when you're going to stay true to the melody, you know, because we've created that bond. And I think that as leaders, as worship leaders in the church, like you kind of talked about, we can take that team bond and bring it to the congregation. And they may not be up on stage with us, but we can create that bond with them and point, and it's not about us.
Right.
The bond isn't about us.
Right.
The bond is pointing at coming together in worship, in music. And I think music is something God created. I mean, of course it is, but I think he loves music.
Oh, yeah.
I think he loves music. And if we'll you know, we can talk about who used to be the main worship praise,
let me just guess.
But I think God loves music, and the fact that he gave us a gift to come together, no matter what language you speak, to worship him is so cool. Cool.
Well, and I think something that you said too, like you're talking about coming together, like, can we just talk about just on a practical level, how cool it is that you can come and sing and play this, and then this person, and then you bring it together and it makes a whole song.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like God made some really cool humans.
That's super cool. You know, because I can just sing a cappella, but it's not going to be a full song. And it's like each person has their job. Just like each person in the church body, big capital C church, has a job. And so I think that when you're a leader, no matter if you're on the worship team or on the food committee or on, everybody has to do their job, and it has to work together.
I mean, isn't there a scripture or something? Yeah. It's like we're talking about being the body.
I mean, right? But I just think it's so cool. Like, honestly, I love this topic, so I could just go off in any direction. But I just think it's so cool how we get to do that, and we get to reflect that in something that we love and we're passionate about.
Yeah, and I think you know, people listening to this may be like, well, I don't sing.
Yeah.
That's okay. You do something. There's something that God has, and I believe that our biggest gifts to the world are also tied to our greatest desires.
Yes.
That are, you know what I mean? Like the passage in Psalm, that says that, you know, God gives us the desires of our heart, but I think there's also this understanding that we need to have, that we have to seek him and allow it to flow. Like, we need to be in tune with him so that our desires align. Because let me tell you, my desires is like, I want to sleep and watch Netflix all day.
Right.
Like, that's my desire. That's Kristen's desires. Yes. But I think, you know, recognizing that when it comes to gift giving, like, I think our biggest gifts come from our desires. So what is it? So maybe it's not singing, and I don't want to get too far away from that, but it's like, whatever gifts you have. I think people are like, well, I can't sing, so I can't do this, and I can't, but like, you make people feel really, really comfortable. So can you be our greeter? Yeah. Because we want people to feel seen from the street to the seat. We want them to have an experience in between. And I, on a stage, can't do that. Right. So right, like, and I'm like, I have a weird personality, and people feel really uncomfortable around me sometimes. So it's like, okay, you don't want me greeting people. Yeah. But so I think just recognizing what that gift is. No, I like that. I have a friend, and she listens to this podcast, and she knows who she is. Hello. And so in college, she kind of took that verse and really brought it to light for me, because a lot of people take that verse out of context, saying like, oh, and they forget the first part. Seek the Lord. Yeah. But a lot of people take it out of context and be like, God, I want this, and I want like that, and he's gonna give me the desires of my heart. But she said, no, he gives you the desires of your heart, meaning he puts in your heart, he puts those things, and then you want those things. You desire those things. I'm like, oh, snap. It's like, right, because that's what I'm saying, like, my desires are not always holy. Exactly. So it's like, I do believe that he transplants those into he does a heart transplant. Yes. But going back to those people who feel like,
you can't sing. And, talking about worship, you don't have to sing to worship.
Right.
You don't have
100%.
to be a good singer.
I think that's what we need to talk about.
Yes.
Like,
you don't have to be
yeah.
a good singer. You don't have to be a good musician. You just have to pour your heart into it. And a lot of times, the most passionate worship that I've observed has not been from somebody who's an amazing singer on stage. It's been somebody who's just sitting there, and maybe they don't have the best voice, but nobody cares because we're not listening for the best voice. Like, that's not the point of worship, is who's good and who's not. It's worshiping and, like, putting yourself in a place to just recognize who God is and thanking God, and just because he's worthy of that. And so the most passionate worshiping that I've ever observed has been from people who could not carry a tune, you know?
Well, and I think you could even say, like, for me personally, and I get to lead thousands of people on a weekend, and any given weekend, and my most authentic and most passionate, most raw worship happened nowhere near a stage. Yeah. It's at my home, or it's, when I'm giving financially, when I'm actually putting money in the plate, and sometimes I'm like, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm trusting you. And, or, like, again, just serving in different capacities, going out into our community. Like, that's worship. Like, anytime you're able to be the beacon of light of Jesus, like you're worshiping him. And there's traditional worship, like praise and worship. Yes. But I think we also have to get out of, like, worship as just singing. Yeah. Like, I think we forget that, like, you're actually worshiping him, with your hands and your feet too, and your body, and like,
exactly. Like, we can worship him. We do have that musical, like, David worshipped and praised through music, but he also danced. That was a form of worship, and it had nothing to do with what he was singing.
And most singers would be like, I don't dance.
Exactly.
Great, you sing, do that.
Yeah.
It's like, we've got to stop comparing our worship, our gifts.
Yes, and so you use your gifts to worship, and it's serving, and serving God's kingdom is a form of worship.
Absolutely.
And I think that a lot of people get caught up in, I can't sing, so I can't worship, or I can't do this, so I'm not going to be a leader in the church because I can't do this. Well, what can you do?
What can you do, and who can you lead? Yeah. They might be the 3-year-olds.
Exactly.
They need to be led.
Yes.
Like,
and it takes a special person.
It is not me.
Yeah.
I am not that person. I am not that person.
Yes.
I feel like we could probably hover on leadership as a whole. I think so many people think of leaders like, I was listening to a podcast on the way here, and they were talking about Dr. King, and, you think of, like, these people like that, leaders, but, like, everyone is leading someone. Yeah. Like, in some capacity, you're influencing and hopefully impacting in a positive way people's lives every single day. Like, every single day you're influencing and leading people. Yes. And I think that we've got to get over, like, if you're on a stage with a microphone, then you're leading. If you're preaching, you're leading. If you're whatever, and it's like, no, like, we lead in our homes. We lead, our community. Like, I gather, I'm like a people collector. Yeah. Like, I love collecting people. I was like, I love it. Like, for whatever reason, there's that part of my leadership is people are just kind of drawn to me.
Yeah. You and your brother.
I know. For real. Yeah. We are, like, little collectors. Maybe we moved a lot, so maybe we just kind of had to, like, but even now, just as an adult, I'm like, I'll just be like, literally, like, I don't know anything about plants. And I was like, does anybody want to do a plant swap? I'm trying to learn. And, like, all these people that I don't even know were like, I want to come, it's just like, I collect them. I mean, I'm also, like, the ultimate, like, passer offer. I'm like, all right, got a group formed here.
Delegate.
You're a great leader. You go. So I love leading leaders as well. Actually, I really, really, really love. But I think that we have to recognize, not only are we leading in small ways, I would say small, like, if you're leading your family, like mamas at home with a bunch of babies, like, you are leading them every single day. And it may feel small on a stage scale, but, like, that is the most impact that you can, like, lead your family.
The most important place to lead is, leading your family. The Bible says, teach a child the way it should go, and I think because you teach the child the way it should go, you're leading them, you're teaching them, then they can go off and be leaders themselves. Right. And so it seems small. And even if you're leading in a small capacity, small capacity to the world standards,
right.
You're still making a big impact.
Absolutely. You can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can we talk about leading ourselves?
Yes.
Like,
that's super
this
important.
doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, leading ourselves I think is great, and I think we get caught up in like others, like, oh, I'm not in charge of anything, so I'm not a leader. You don't have to be in charge of anything. No. You can lead others, and it's just by the really life freeing you live.
When you're not.
Yes, yeah. Like, but you can be a leader just by living your life for Jesus. You can lead people.
It's literally what we're called to do.
That's what we're supposed to do. Right. You can walk out that door and go to the grocery store, and maybe something happens and the cashier's super grumpy or whatever. You can lead that cashier simply by being kind and patient.
Or asking a question. How's your day today?
How are you doing? Yeah. I mean, I went to Walgreens the other day, and the cashier, she actually was a former student of mine in classroom setting, not the private studio, but so I knew who she was and she knew me, but I could see that she was like in tears, and I'm just like, are you okay? Like, and she just told me, she briefly told me what was going on, and but just taking that time to ask somebody can be a leadership role. Yeah, absolutely. So going back to, because we're both leaders in the worship setting, something I face, and I think this can be applied to any type of leader, is because I have a music degree and because I've been trained to be a little bit analytical when it comes to music, I often find myself fighting, you worded it, I like how you worded it, fighting that humanity part, where I want to be thinking of the music and like, oh, that note wasn't right, or I want to kind of be a little analytical of it. How would you kind of combat that?
Well, first, I think it's not always something to combat, because what I hear and what you're saying is like the way God made your brain was to be analytical, and find yourself in the details, which in so many team instances or in your gifting and whatever you're doing out in the world, I think it can be awesome. It can be a tool. It can be a gift. So I think making sure that things like that, like where we get kind of hung up on certain things, like for me, I'm not super technical. Like I was never trained. I don't know. I mean, I know like some basics and stuff, but so having someone like you on the team is great. Sure, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I think like reframing it, or just keeping it in its proper container. Yes. Right? Like so the fire can cook your food and keep your house warm, but it can also set the house on fire. Yeah. So can I get so for me it might look like are my shoes okay, or is this outfit okay? Yeah. Like it may, if I can use something different. And then so it's like, do I want to be presentable and make sure the lights don't show through my skirt or whatever. So it's like yes, but when am I moving myself too much into this? And so I think that's the question of, that's so where's the end of me and where's God, and making sure it's in its appropriate places. I think combating it is just staying aware of it. Yeah. I think asking other people on your team to say, hey, will you tell me, so something I struggle with a lot, I mean, not as much anymore, but I struggle with is timing. Yeah. Like sometimes. And so like, I'm always like, hey, you're really good at timing. Like, will you help me learn how to like properly phrase these words in this thing? And of course, like that person's like, oh, me? Thanks. Yeah. Whereas they might be picking themselves apart over there. And so like being able to use those things that we would consider like a downfall or a distraction, how can I bring that to the table instead of taking it off the table completely? But so staying aware, and then also asking other people, around you, like, hey, will you let me know if like I'm just like in the weeds too much with like in the details and I'm distracted by it. I think once you're distracted by it and you're thinking of self or your production or your performance more than you're thinking about how will people engage with this to connect with God, that's when it's, I think, just an indicator. Yeah. So I think just managing it. Like, I don't think it's either or.
Yeah, no, that's so good. That's a good perspective, too, because Yeah, and I think anybody who's serving can find themselves getting in their own way.
100%.
Like if I'm
in God's way.
Yeah, in God's way.
Just move.
Just move. Exactly. Like if I'm so focused on singing, I mean, I want to sing the right note. Like
Sure.
we want it to be good, and you want to bring your best. You want to be excellent for the Lord.
Yeah.
But if that's only what I'm thinking about, then I'm not truly worshiping.
Right.
I'm thinking about performing.
Yeah.
And so I think that can be applied in no matter what role you're in, is like the moment you put, like you said, kind of start leaning more towards yourself. But I love how you bring it back around and like, let's use that in a good way and like keep it in check.
Like your greatest strengths are also your greatest weakness. Like they're the same. Like, so it's like, is this a strength or is this a weakness right now? And honestly, like I can say this because I just had this conversation with my worship pastor. A lot of time it always just comes down to pride.
Yeah.
It just always boils back down to pride. And if you look at the first person to commit pride as a sin, it was a worship leader.
Yes.
So but there is that tension that we have to wrestle with and that we have to hold and manage.
Yeah.
I want to show up. So I want to show up and give my best so that I'm not distracting by missing notes and missing lyrics. I mean, it happens. But at the same time, like I don't want to be so focused on that I don't allow God to do what he needs to do because I'm in the way and I'm too focused on me, or I won't hear from him, or I won't connect with those people, or whatever that might be. And I think also like the fear of failure, like you're going to. Yeah. You're going to miss the note. You're going to do the thing. So like practicing on your own to hone in that skill. So you've God will give you the talent, but it's still a responsibility to hone in that talent. Like and to skill and craft it. Yes. And so doing the work off the stage is going to show up on the stage. So if you're getting vocal lessons or you're getting piano lessons or whatever, you're getting lessons or coaching or mentorship or guidance, and you're putting in the work off the stage. When you step on the stage, like you're going to be a little bit naturally, one, more confident in your ability to perform this thing. And then two, I think you can let your brain can rest. Like it can be like, we already know this. Yeah. Moving on. It's like driving a car. Like you don't have to think like drive, park, shift. Right. I have a shifter car. So it's like, you don't think about that anymore because you've already learned it and your brain has chunked it. Right. No, that's so good. The same thing is true for our gifts. And it's like, well, it's not authentic if it's practice. Bet. Yeah. Because it's not authentic when I'm up there worrying about what's the lyrics. Exactly. No,
I always say like, be prepared. Absolutely. But leave room for the Holy Spirit.
But be flexible.
Be flexible. Yes. Exactly. Be prepared, but be flexible so that I'm prepared and I know how this song is going to go. But if the Holy Spirit tells me to sing that verse again, I gotta know I'm gonna be able to sing that verse again, and my team is gonna have to know, oh, she's going back.
She's going back.
But we can't be flexible. Exactly. You're tag it.
We're going to the chorus.
But you can't be flexible if you're not prepared. Right. You can't be flexible enough to go back to the chorus, and my team's not going to know to follow me to the chorus if we haven't practiced together and know what the chorus sounds like. They're going to be like, oh,
I just
wrong
also
chord.
think like, and this just might be, I don't know, this might just be me. I'm like, sometimes God speaks to me before I get on the stage. So I actually know where I'm going to go with this, you know? Like, so in ours, we sing to a click track, and so we will actually have pastoral moments. So they'll be like, hey, there's a 90-second pastoral moment. I'm not going to just get up there and be like, okay, Lord, what you got?
What you got?
So I actually pray about, okay, I'm singing to teenagers tonight. God, what is it that you want to speak to them? Yeah. And then I actually practice, while I'm practicing my song, the 90-minute cut comes in. Yeah. And so it's like, it's not the same as like if I wanted to keep going, but I feel like the Lord can also prepare us. Yeah, like exactly. Like, so it's like, there's that part too of just like, he can actually speak to us off the stage to bring it onto the stage. Yeah. So, do the work.
Yeah, do the work. Do the work. Be prepared.
Be prepared and be flexible.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. No, that's so good. One question that I had too is, I think, and it's kind of a sticky one.
Bring it.
When you're on stage and you are a leader in the church, I think sometimes we're held more accountable. And, let's kind of speak into that, talk into that a little bit on what that looks like and feels like for you.
Yeah, it is. That's the part where it's hard to hold the tension of your humanity, because you're still a human off the stage,
Right.
who's very flawed and a sinful nature. You
Yeah.
know, like it's like that's really hard, especially in spaces where people. So like our church is really large, but our town is really small, and our town is outside of where our church is.
Yeah.
But a lot of people go there, and so it's like they see you on stage and they see you on Sundays, but then they heard you yelling at your kids again in the car. And so like it's like I think we have to just manage the tension of being, in this role, but knowing that like I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to show up perfectly to be qualified to be in this role.
Yeah.
And so I think that anytime you're on a stage of any kind, you are naturally elevated, even if you're not asking to be.
Right.
And it's like, so it makes me more compassionate to leaders. So I do think leaders are held to a higher standard. I just think that we need to do all the work of keeping ourselves surrounded with accountability and healthy in all the ways, with enough rest, enough, even enough action, like enough movement and all of that. And I think that we have to hold a space for leaders and people to be humans also. So it's harder from down there for them to look up and have that same grace, because in your mind they've already made a story about who you are and who you should be. So it's both. I think it's both. Yes, we are called to higher spaces, and we are called to level up and to, stay accountable and stay with strong convictions and all of that. And we're humans.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like I think it's just something we kind of have to. It's not like a balance. It's like a side to side, like a Bosey ball. Yeah. I think it's like it's not either or. It's both for me. I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we should strive to be accountable, and we should put in the work, like you said, to do that. And yes, we're going to make a mistake, and we should strive, to stay away from those mistakes. But when those
the line should be further away.
The line should be further away. But when we do make a mistake, what can we as leaders, or what can you say to leaders when they do make a mistake? And what can you say to maybe somebody who's not on the stage to how to respond to a leader who maybe made, and I'm talking like smaller mistakes, not, there's
not like
some
moral failure.
Yeah, there's some mistakes that, people need to step away.
Sure.
But
and there's even just seasons where you need to step away, even without
and
type of
that
stuff.
can go into into not even a mistake.
Leadership in seasons.
Yes.
Like, I just think we are all leaders, but it doesn't mean we have to be leading all the time.
All the time. Exactly. Take a season of rest or yeah.
So I think, depending on the mistake and, like you said, like the kind of the caliber of it, but I think as the leader, just own it. Just own it and apologize depending on what it is. If it, own it and then do the work to move the line even further, so that you're backing up, so that it's not even a problem. Like it doesn't matter if the confidence monitor goes out, because I know the song, I've done the work and I've learned it so well that I can just do it based off what I hear in my ears. Like I don't need the words.
Right.
That's real life. That's happened. And I was not prepared.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't prepared enough.
Right.
And so I think just own it. What can I do to avoid this? Or not even, this won't even be a thing next time. So do the work. And then I think for people on the other side of that, like just hold a space for people's humanity.
Yeah.
Whether they're on a stage or whether they're at the Walmart, like just hold a space like for people's humanity. And that doesn't mean you have to agree with or accept their behavior, but like, how different would our world be if we just looked people in the face and just said, whatever, like something that would encourage them, or say, hey, today sucks. I'm sorry.
Right.
Can I buy you a coffee?
Right.
Like, how different would our world be just instead of being like, well, you do this and you should do this, and like put your fingers down and stop shooting on people. And I think that we would move forward as a human race so much better.
The image came to me while you were talking of like, I think me, because I'm on the worship team, but I'm not the worship leader, and I'm part of a congregation who has a leader. I'm so I'm a member as well, and I think members and people who are being led by someone, the image comes where Moses is praying, and there's a battle going on, and when his hands are up, they're winning, and when his hands go down, they're losing, and so he had to have
Someone hold them
Aaron
up.
and someone else lift them up. And they stepped in. Moses was the leader,
So
but
good.
Moses was human and couldn't keep his hands up by himself. And so I think we as congregations and we as church members and we as Jesus followers have to come behind our leaders and help them and encourage them and lift them up when they need help.
So good.
And so that image just came to mind when you were describing that.
I love that image. Moses is my dude. Like, he's my character.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I can relate to him. I mean, Psalms are my favorite, and my favorite verses are found in the Psalms. And, of course, just being a music person. But, like, Moses is my dude. Like, when he had me at, like, all right, kill them or kill me, God.
Yeah.
Like, take them or take me.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I can relate. I have kids. I understand. No, when he asked God, like, who am I? Like, who am I to lead these people?
Exactly.
Who am I? And it kind of goes back to leadership.
Yeah.
You know, who am I that you would call to lead this great movement? And, like, I just love God's response to his ever-ending questions of who he is as a person, based off the things. Anyways, I love Moses. I love that. I love that story about Aaron, and I think it's Joshua.
I feel like it's Joshua.
I was gonna say Joshua, but I don't know. Anyways,
I think it's Joshua.
His homeboy helped him hold up his arms.
Yes.
And it's like, how much better of leaders even would we be if we had a safe place to ask, like, could you hold my arms up? Like, that part, because we are so separated. So let's just use the stage as a like a visual. You've got the people on the stage, you've got the people off the stage, and that brings a natural severance, right? A natural disconnect from them and us,
right?
And how different would it be if the leader said, "I'm really struggling today, like, you know, in whatever capacity. Could you hold my arms up?"
Yeah.
Like, that would be...
And you don't even have to share what you're struggling with. Like,
well, let's put it on our prayer list. Prayer lists are great.
Yeah.
But, like, right now, I just need to be seen. I need to know that someone sees me and hears me and is willing to hold my arm up. I can talk about the rest later.
Yeah.
Like, what would that be like? And if we were quick to run to our fellow leaders and say, "Can I hold your arm up?"
Yeah.
Like let's be, what is it called? Anticipatory leaders.
Yeah.
Like, we anticipate the needs of people around us.
Yes.
Like, I want to anticipate. So whether that's our fellow leaders or the people we're leading, how can I, you know, not make them ask?
Yeah.
Like, how can I just anticipate? Like, they might need their arms held up. And so I think, I mean, just like so much grace for people. They say, you know, you have to hold people close before you can hold them accountable.
Yeah.
So I would say if you don't know the whole story, then it's not yours to judge.
Yeah.
You know, like, or if you're not close enough to it, and it's really hard to hate people that you're close to.
Yeah.
Right? But I think there is a lot of discord between the them versus us. Like, and again, we can use a lot of different scenarios, like not just a musicality,
right?
But like just in leadership versus people, you know, in the congregation. But I think it's a hard line to walk, and because it's like, how do I come out and say I'm struggling with this thing if I'm on a stage leading people in worship?
Right.
Because God is so good that it can actually be both.
Right.
Like, he is so vast and so big and so sovereign that you can be struggling with an eating disorder or unhealthy relationship with foods and lead people through worship that need to feel his presence.
Right.
And they need to hold your hand to get there. And I think there are seasons, like, I think there are, like, we even see, like, Jesus model, like, he goes and he pours out and he preaches, and then he goes away for 40 days.
Yeah.
And then he goes and he pours out and he preaches and he gets on a boat and leaves everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Carnival, like, we're just going to get on a boat and leave? Like, okay.
All right.
Like, he's like, you know, and so, and we see Jesus have real human needs, and one of them is energy management.
Yeah.
Which we don't really talk about because we'd rather just turn on our favorite Netflix binge and forget that we need to manage our own energy.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, as lazy as Netflix seems, you know, if you're constantly on it, it's not renewing your energy.
It's not, no.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not draining your energy, but it's, I think the things that need to be processed start stacking up. And so it's like just coming out of your eyeballs.
Yes.
You're like, ah!
Yes.
And so you're not managing that.
No, that's so good. Like, Jesus definitely took the time.
He had rhythms.
Yes, he had rhythms, and there were moments where he was busy and constantly going, but after those, he took the time to rest and recoup and spend time with the Lord. Like, that's what he was doing in those times that he was, you know, when he got on the boat, spending time on the 40-day fast. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that's what filled him back up to go back out and go, go, go.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I think that's for leaders. I mean, we're talking about like just the worship space, but leaders in any capacity, I think it's so important to make sure. You had mentioned, like, I've heard the saying, and I would agree with what you're saying about you can't pour from an empty cup. And I think sometimes we forget that we're really like more like water hoses. So like if you're thinking like I can't, so it's not always like God fills up your cup and then you go pour it out. Sometimes you're just the vessel, but you have to stay connected to the house.
Oh, that's
like
so
the house
good.
has to flow through you.
Yeah.
And so instead of, and I think it's a little bit of both, but I just I was thinking of that when you said that, because there was a season where I was off stage and out of any kind of leadership, really, and it was a really, really cold season. Like it was really like a dark season. I mean, like the Psalm 23rd season. Like, and I remember God showing me what you're gonna pour out. It will not be from your own strength. Like like you're pouring out from an empty cup. Like it's not even a cup; it's a water hose. And what you're pouring out, you will be affected by on its way out. So like healing waters, like what I needed in that season was healing. And as that is flowing through you, it's going to heal you on the way.
Oh, that's good.
And so I just think as leaders, we have to remember, like, stay connected to the source. Like a little spigot on the side of the house. If it's not connected, that water is not going in that hose.
Yeah, that's so good. That's a good way to think about that.
I know. I see things in pictures and like you do too. Like
me too.
I'm like I was like building a little story.
But okay, so speaking of worship, I think let's talk about what are you listening to?
What am I crushing on right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really digging. Okay, so let's see. I was going to go back like old school. Like I was trying to think earlier. What are some of my old school worship people? But like currently I'm like, hey Alexa, play Maverick City. Like right now I'm just kind of more that gospel, like free flowing. Every song is 14 minutes. Like that's what I've been playing like in the background, even though I don't really necessarily know all of the songs. I mean, we know some of them because we sing them, but I really love Brandon Lake. Anything that he's putting out right now is just like an arrow to the heart. I'm like, I'm trying to think who else right now. I think that's really it. I spend so much time practicing worship songs. But if I'm just listening for my own worship and like if I just need to connect with God, right now those are kind of my go-tos. And honestly, I've been in a season where I'm doing a lot of instrumental, like no words. Yeah. So okay. So I'm like too many words, guys. Too many words.
Podcaster was talking about, I think William Augusto, I think is his name, and it's just like synth music, and each song is an hour long. Like it's just like.
I mean, and given my field, like that, I mean, it does. And certain frequencies can, if you want to get scientific about it, music. I read right before my dad passed away earlier this year. I remember reading where when you sing, it actually taps into your parasympathetic system, which is your nervous system. It's your fight or flight. That's where when we're scared, like that activates. When you sing, it actually takes you out of it. And so when you hear like babies singing to like soothe themselves, they don't have words, but like God actually built a soother in our body with our voice. And so I'm digging some instrumental music too.
I'm really loving Charity Gale.
Yes. I've heard a couple of her things.
Yeah. And she does stuff with People in Song, who I love them, but she also has her own albums too. And I'm just like, man, like going back to
download her stuff on Spotify.
Oh yeah, so good. Like more gospel-y, like
what
we grew up on.
Yeah. And like that's where I feel like the Lord is kind of like where I'm at in this season. Like CeCe Winans.
Oh yes.
Some of the I'm just like maybe he's just bringing me home in some ways to myself.
Well, also, I'm thinking about worship, and something that bothers me a little bit about contemporary worship, and this could be a whole other conversation.
Just one thing?
One thing. But is like a lot of worship songs right now are self-focused.
Like Jesus, what do they call it? Narcissist?
No, I've never heard that.
So ridiculous. I said the same thing the other day.
So like Jared, I love this term. He like calls it this. What we want to look for is vertical worship.
Yes. Yeah.
Worship that doesn't put the focus on us.
Like this. I worship you.
Yes, exactly.
Jesus.
It goes No, I'm not saying that there's not a place for those other
is
songs,
a place
because they're encouraging.
But the worship service is not that place.
Exactly.
During worship, I just think that I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of the culture has shifted to, but I think it's in an attempt to help people be reminded of who God says they are.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's like, if I feel worthless, then why would I want to worship somebody who's this perfect holy being?
Yeah.
Like, we have to, like, so I understand where it's coming from.
Yes.
Even though I'm annoyed by it.
Yes, but it's a radio. It's in the background. Even if it is in church, it's a special. Worship and worship time on the stage should be upward focused.
Yeah. I agree.
To Jesus, to God.
Just had this conversation
Yes.
with one of our team members.
Yeah. So, okay, I already asked you this question because you've been on the podcast before, but I like to ask it of my guests. What does rise and shine mean to you?
When I think about it, I mean, I really think you did ask me this before, but I feel like it can just look different for different people in different seasons. Mm-hmm. What came to mind when you just asked me was a tree. Like a tree that's rooted. What's the psalm that talks about the tree being rooted by the waters, and it doesn't waver, and it doesn't, but it has to, it's all the way up, right? Mm-hmm. And then I also was thinking, like, I just had that picture of, like, the tree rooted. Then I had the picture of, like, the light shining through it.
Ooh, yeah.
So, like, the sun, I mean, like, you know, like, how if you're, like, sitting on your porch, like, at sunset, like, you've got just that glow, and then, like, your trees will just kind of, like, illuminate. And so, I just think that, you know, like I said before, I think it takes courage to rise. It takes courage to come up and to be anchored in Christ, in Jesus, especially in these days and the days to come. But allowing his love and just being reminded of how he has healed you, how he has been faithful. We're like the most forgetful creatures ever. Yeah. Like, I think mice remember more than we do. Yeah. But we forget how much God has done for us. Like, if you just got out a pen and paper and turned off the noise for 5 minutes and just started writing about all the ways, big and small, that God has been faithful and that he has restored us, that he has saved us, he has changed us. I think that is what I think about the light being inside of us, so that it can shine out of the places that are cracked and that are broken, you know, so to speak, from the world and its destruction. But I think that's what I think came to mind for me in the moment. Yeah, no, that's good. That question was coming. I should have been ready for it.
No, that's good. Yeah. Okay, and where can everybody find you?
Yes. Well, I am not a fancy person. So you guys can just find me on Facebook, on Instagram, Kristen Campbell. My Instagram has 2 N's. It's Kristen N. And then look for the purple hair. Yep. I say that. I hope it's still purple by the time this comes out.
Yeah, like bright orange.
I know, you never know. Oh, I tried orange once, so that wasn't great. And then for those of you interested in any health, fitness, wellness that's Christ-focused, Christ-centered, I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Christians Do Yoga. We offer all kinds of good stuff there. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Thank you so much. Yay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Cue music.
Cue music. Thank you all so much for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and leave a review. You can also subscribe for new episodes every Monday. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to discuss, you can send me an email at haylee.riseandshine@gmail.com. That's HAYLEE, and the word "and" is spelled out. Or you can send me a voice message on your podcast app. Simply go to the show or episode page and click on the link that says "Send in a voice message." Now, go out there and shine your light.